My video today is constructing an elevated dog tray, or as I like to call it, the dining room table for my dog, or for a dog. And it's as a result of the call to action from Mark, Nicole, and family of the Woodworkers channel. And they are the spokespeople this year for Woodworkers Fighting Cancer 2019. Their challenge is for woodworkers to construct a version of the dog tray, elevated dog tray, according to their specifications before October 31st, 2019. And if you do construct it, submit a photo online. They'll donate $5 to cancer research, or if you post a video, they'll donate $10 for cancer research. And the specifications can be found on their channel or through the if you search through for Woodworkers Fighting Cancer 2019 or on the Woodworkers channel, you'll find the specifications and how to submit your photos or videos. But regardless, this is very timely, and I just want to applaud them first of all. My version of the elevated dog tray is built with maple strips that I had to glue together and mill, and they're built basically to the specifications required, and exactly as Mark has. And in fact, if you watch Mark's video, you'll get a better idea of actually how to construct the elevated dog tray. I made 3 exceptions to the construction. The first one is I used dowels rather than floating tendons to connect the legs to the aprons. I also used homemade wooden cleats to attach the top to the bottom or to the aprons, because I couldn't find and didn't have the time to order online the figure 8 attachments. And thirdly, I used a drill and a jigsaw to cut the holes out for the dog dishes in the top rather than a router and a Dremel. You can watch the video to see how I constructed it. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in comments and I'll be very happy to get back to you. As far as this video, I'd like to talk a little bit more about what the challenge really is, and that's about fighting cancer. And I think that's very important, something that fights everyone, or it affects everybody. You know, someone knows someone, either a friend or a family member, and I think it affects not just us humans, but pets and animals of all sorts as well. We have a family friend right at the moment who has gone through some cancer treatment herself, but during this past year she's lost a sister. She has another sister that is fighting for her life and will actually lose a daughter, believe it or not, within the coming days or weeks due to cancer. It is a horrible disease that causes much grief, death, and misery to life, that is very complicated and still is so much we don't know about it, and that we can, with the proper research, hopefully can find a cure that no one else will have to suffer those same horrible effects of that disease. This video for me is dedicated to 2 people. Although I've known several people, including my father-in-law, who've lost their lives due to cancer, I want to dedicate this to 2 loved ones of my own. One is my sister, born Elizabeth Ann, but we always called her Betty Ann, or Betty. She was an elementary teacher, but she wasn't just simply a teacher of young students. She was the kind of person that, it seems like more often than not, we'd go out into public, and a young adult, someone in their late teens, early 20s, would come up to her and say how she had changed. My sister had changed their life, and that they were now something, doing something in their life, going to university or had become some profession, and they had given her the full credit, or that she was the greatest teacher they ever came to. And what was amazing to me is my sister would remember those people, and what she did was always seemed to be very individualized to them, whether she gave them tough love, special love, helped them out with lunch money, did whatever, but it was something, or some learning disability, but it was all individual for those people. It was just amazing. My sister was also very spiritual, spent a lot of time with the church, food banks and donated time to things like the Kids Helpline as well throughout her life. But her most important thing in her life that she cared more and cherished was her family, her son and her grandchildren. And her only lament that I know of was that she didn't have more children, and particularly didn't have a daughter or a granddaughter that she always wanted. After her death in 2017, and about a year or so later, her son was graced with a daughter, Elizabeth. And I think Betty Ann would be so proud and so happy to know that she was named Liz or Elizabeth after her. I think she would be so happy to have that and to help her to enjoy life and to go through the challenges that she has. One final story about my sister is that about 3 weeks after the funeral, my wife and I were having a fire on the beach near our home, and we were quiet, and as it was at that particular time when things were quiet and I had time to think, my thoughts turned to her and wondering, was she fine? What was life like, especially someone who was a spiritual and close to God in the church? And I asked for a sign from the universe, if to show a shooting star to go through the sky to let me know that she was fine. And not with several seconds had passed, literally, when one of the brightest and largest meteorites or shooting stars that I'd ever seen in my life streaked from west to south across the sky. And that may be simply purely coincidence, have it what you may, but at least provided me with some comfort and allowed me to stop grieving. I also want to dedicate this video to someone else who's passed very recently to me, and that's my dog, Aussie, the Australian Shepherd. She was 13 and a half years old and had been part of our family as much as her daughter or my wife is, or anyone else that I'd known, and I'd come to love her very much. But dogs are no more immune to the evil effects of cancer than humans are, and she got a blood cancer, and within days of being diagnosed was no longer with us, and it is still grieving now today. And I think the idea that we're building a dog tray may seem very strange, that I no longer have a use for that. It does provide me an opportunity to grieve and to help with that process of getting over her, although she will always be in my heart. I ask anyone who's watching this video to think about cancer, to look after themselves, to stay away from harmful chemicals, be careful around the sun, think of others, make sure that you get regular checkups from the doctor, and if you can afford it, to donate a small amount to your local cancer research or cancer society would be greatly appreciated. And like I said, if you really do have any questions in regards to this video of how I built it, or any other stories that you would like to share, or how you're grieving, please add them to the comments. Thanks.